Hey, good morning. My name is Eric, and this is Ramblings of an Old Man. And hopefully, it'll hit some of you guys, a chord in some of you guys of what's really going on today. One of the things that kind of interested me was you had Anthony write a song. He's from West Virginia. And it hit a lot of folks. And it didn't have any party lines. It didn't have any country lines because it went to the charts over on iTunes globally, not just here in the United States. But the thing that bothered me, I guess, because I watched the first hour of the GOP debates and stuff, was there wasn't a mention of that song. You know, he's just a normal guy, just like you and I. He's got a story. And things happen. For what little I know about the young man is that he fell and hit his head, I believe, had to go out on disability. And that's, you know, something that everybody can understand. But he wasn't looking for handouts. He didn't want anybody to give him anything. He decided this was his way of getting it out of his system through music. And see, music is a common thing all the way through all the cultures. But his main theme is that nobody cares in Washington about the little guys. And even I am one of those little guys. And so most of you. There's so many Anthonys out there that have their stories that are so similar. And I could relate to him because when I was injured in a mining accident, I had to go out on disability. And the money was a lot less than I was making when I was working. To be exact, it was about 55 to 60,000 less a year that I had to try to. And there were some rough times. I mean, don't get me wrong. I went through bankruptcy. All I had left was a truck that I couldn't afford. Because I could afford it when I was working, but not when I wasn't working. But it's like 1 minute you're on top of the world. You've got a good job, making decent money, and you never think that it will happen to you. But then it does. And for most people that have to go through this, you end up losing everything. So you're at the bottom of the pile, trying to figure out how to claw your way back out. That describes a lot of people. Whether you were injured at work, whether you had mental health problems, get in the way of doing your job, whether you lost your job because the corporate world moved their job somewhere else. The only good thing I had at that time was the only way to go was up. I ended up selling that truck, and I had to rely on other people at that point to just get me to doctor's appointments. So if you're going through that right now, let me give you some pointers. Stop getting down on yourself. You are a good person. Did you hear that? You are a good person. Bad things happen to good people. Look at it as a setback, not as the end of your life. Look at it as a new beginning. And I would say the biggest thing is don't worry about what other people think. The only ones you should be concerned about is what you think. You see, because COVID, for those 2 years, changed a lot of people. Everybody, all your businesses got boarded up. Everybody was restricted to staying home. Everybody was feeling it. And at that point, a lot of people had a chance to rethink about what am I actually doing and why. Because now we're faced with possibly dying from catching it. People were paid large stipends during that time. I know a lot of mom and pops never came back. Because if you had fewer than 5 employees, you didn't receive very much during COVID. I know a lot of mom and pops that paid their employees through that period, like I did here. We stayed open a couple of days a week because we were classified as essential, as farmers are. So, but it was, people had never had that happen to them in such a large way. It's kind of like the guy or gal or what have you. They goes to their doctor, and the doctor says, I'm sorry to say this, but you have cancer. Now, once he said you have cancer, you stop hearing. And then everything else just kind of, and you're reevaluating your life and your priorities. And I think that's what COVID did. A lot of folks didn't return back to the workforce. Why? Well, for one, there were less jobs to come back to. businesses downsized or closed up. You young folks that move back home, it's not time to give up. It's time for a new beginning for you guys. The sky is the limit. The only way to go is up at this point. You have nothing to lose. This could be the best time in your life. So instead of procrastinating, find what it is that you enjoy doing and go do it. I'm serious. Something has to motivate you to get you back on your path to happiness. But the other thing that I thought when I listened to Anthony's song was the people in the Beltway are not doing what's best for us. Let's be honest about it. Are there people up there fighting still and doing their job? Yeah. But the majority are worried more about the next election cycle and getting reelected than they are about you and I. They're not listening. And why aren't they hearing us? Because the deafness falls at the edge of the Beltway. And I've said it, that they need to get out of Washington and back home to their constituents and really see what's going on with the average person. The average person is struggling right now. The average person is watching their way of life go. The average person is starting to rack up credit card debt because they can't afford just the basic food and shelters. If you're in that boat, you're not alone. And that was the chord that Anthony found with you, is that the people up there are not listening. So who are they listening to? Well, a lot of special interest groups, lobbyists, people that can trade money and favors is who they listen to. So there is a separation between the average person and the people that are in Washington, because they don't have to worry about their next meal. They don't need to worry about how to save money so you got gas to drive back and forth to your job. They don't have any of those worries. Their doctor's appointments, having health care. So if they're not worried about that, why should they be worried about it with you? And that's the separation of the rich men north of Virginia. What can we do about it? Well, I think it's about time we as the people let them know what our needs are. I'm not quite sure how to do that because it's hard to get everybody on the same page. See, I don't get it. All this fighting and arguing, and if they can keep you arguing and fighting amongst each other, then you're not thinking about them. If you can spin and put liberals, Democrats, Republicans, independents fighting amongst each other, then those guys can do as they please. See, if we weren't fighting, then we would be concentrating on what are they doing? What are they not doing for us? And why is it that they can get away with stuff that we can't? You could say it's if you have money or if you have political power that you get like an exemption. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Democrat. Been a Democrat almost all my life. But when it comes to voting, I don't vote party lines. I vote who I feel would do the best by me and my fellow Americans. That's how I vote. And that's the only way we're going to get any changes up there in the Beltway is by voting and voting together to help each other. I mean, it's got to bother you that the president's son has done all these things and they were going to give him a plea deal. But if it were you and I, there wouldn't even be any discussion. We'd be in jail. I think that bothers everybody. And what is it saying to the world, our allies, and the countries that are not allies? We just need to come together. Stop fighting amongst each other. Make each other whole instead of tearing people down. It's not that hard. So where can we start? Well, the first thing we can do is make sure that our health, mental health, and everything else is good. We need to know that we are a good person, and you are a good person. Next thing is start reaching out to people in your community. If there's older people in your community that either the kids have moved away or check on them. Stop in. During Thanksgiving and Christmas and even other dates. Invite them to your table. Do some good things for people. There's no better satisfaction than doing the right thing and not looking for something in return. If you're looking for something in return, then you're no better than the ones that are in the White House, because that's how their party plays. That's how those guys play. There's an ulterior motive to everything they do. And we as Americans, for the most part, when we do stuff for other people, we don't have any ulterior motives other than we care. That's the difference. We care about elderly going without, can't afford food, basic needs, losing their home because of taxes, because they haven't got enough money to pay their taxes. Instead of not talking to people that are your neighbors, become good friends with your neighbors and help each other out. If you see a mom and pop business like a grocery store or repair shop or what have you, I encourage you to use them to get your service work done, where you buy your stuff instead of buying it from the big corporate outlets. Simple oil changes can be done by your local garage versus at Walmart. If you have it done at the small mom and pop, you're helping them stay and support in the community, because I can guarantee you, for years they've been giving back to that community one way or another silently, looking for no ulterior motive other than to help people. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Find common ground with people that you may have had problems with in the past and you quit speaking to. Don't let politics get in the way of being a loving family. Agree to disagree. Start living today like it's your last, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You need to find your happy place and excel. Don't let other people control how you feel and think. Only you can make yourself think or react to certain things. You're in full control. You don't need to give your power up to somebody else. And instead of starting off your day worrying about gas money, worrying about this, worrying about that, that sets a precedent for your day of just going to be misery. Change the story. Feel good when you get your feet on the ground. I pray to God every night, and then every morning I thank God for giving me one more day on this earth with family and friends. Only you can control how you feel or react. Don't let other people bring you down. Don't let events bring you down of things going on that are out of your control. You young people, you got so much gifted talent there and so much positive things ahead of you. But you got to take that next step. Stop procrastinating. And even some of you older folks, stop procrastinating. This could be either the best time in your life or the worst. Only you decide what it will be. So my suggestion to you is start off every morning and fill yourself with positive things. I'm not telling you you're not going to worry about this and that from time to time, but don't let it consume your day. Don't let somebody's remark at work bother you to the point of where you're just ready to scream. You're giving your power away to someone else. And I can guarantee you that person that you're pissed off at or has done you wrong years ago and you're spending a lot of time thinking about it and it's tearing you up inside, I guarantee you the person on the other side that you're thinking about is not thinking about you. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time because you could be doing things that you enjoy doing, and you could be interacting with people that you love. For those people that have done you wrong, forgive them inside. You don't need to go tell them that they're forgiven. You forgive them inside. Don't forget how they wronged you, but just forgive them for yourself and move on and get back into that, where you need to be. The person that everybody loves and adores. Again, this is just ramblings of an old man. But I hope that it might resonate with a few of you, or the majority of you, that today is a new day. If you've had relationship problems, either try to patch it up, find common ground, or move on. You can't change the past, so why are you looking back? The only thing the past is good for is so that we don't do things over and over again with the same results, thinking we're going to get a different result. I want you looking forward. Today, be the person you really are instead of somebody that you think everybody wants you to be. I'm serious. Stop trying to please everybody. It's not possible. I know. Yes, you're a good person. And you don't need other people telling you that to make you feel better about yourself. I'm telling you right now, you just gotta break out of the cycle that you're in. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I hope this will motivate some of you guys to start taking better care of yourself and enjoying life instead of constant worrying, and the constant stress and not getting enough sleep, becoming irritable with partners, with kids, with family. Today's a new day, folks. On that note, please start today doing the right thing. All right. You guys are great. You guys have a great Saturday. Thank you.